JCI, our parent organization, has spent a lot of time establishing a branding, a corporate identity. The US Jaycees have also done the same with a separate corporate identity. There are chapters in this state that are JCI chapters. There are chapters that use the US Jaycees logo, and there are chapters that don't use either. So my question is, what are your plans to create a unified, single brand for the California Jaycees and all of its chapters? We'll start with Robert this time.
It's a very good question, and we have to remember that that it was in this country that the Jaycees were started back in 1920, and we have earned that nickname of Jaycees, which has become very common. We were also the founding organization of Junior Chamber International, and it's interesting, having lived and worked abroad in both Germany and Japan, how even looking at other national organizations in terms of how they take their name. Japan is JCI Japan, it's very simple. In Germany, it's Wirtschaft Jüngeren, or in the Netherlands, Junior Kammer Nederland. So they even are also not completely consistent. I have no issue with co-branding. As a matter of fact, when I recruit people for the organization, and it doesn't matter what chapter, I was at Newport's, the Taste of Newport, and I found 2 members to recruit for the Newport chapter. And I told them about all the different levels of Jaycees and JCI, and people are excited about the international level. I think we have to be very careful about branding. Some of our chapters, for example, Pasadena, they are very well known as Pasadena Jaycees, and it would be very difficult for them or some other groups to want to change, to make that change, to call themselves Junior Chamber International Pasadena or Junior Chamber International any town. Branding is a very careful exercise, and it needs to be done well, and you need to also have the money and the resources to do it. As state president, I think it's important that chapters, they can name themselves whatever they want to be. If they want to be Jaycees, Junior Chamber, or Junior Chamber International, any town, that's up to them. And certainly we should take advantage of all the programming that JCI has to offer, and we're definitely going to offer that. But I think on the state level, part of my membership strategy is working with the California Chamber of Commerce and the Western Association of Chamber Executives to meet with them, encourage them to help sponsor new JC chapters across the state. And having that name, and our official state name is the California State Junior Chamber of Commerce, that we keep that name, Junior Chamber of Commerce, in effect. And again, if it's the desire of the organization to want to go to JCI, there needs to be a buy-in by the chapters to do that, and there has to be a plan, and there needs to be a budget for it. There are companies that have changed their name and have had horrific results. Some of you in Southern California remember Save-On Drugs, and they were acquired by another company called Costco. And I can tell you, many people still called it Save-On. They couldn't get away from the name. And there's other examples of that too. New Vision Credit Union, which used to be McDonnell Douglas Credit Union, they just changed their name overnight, and they didn't bother to tell anybody. The board of directors was so upset, they sent a letter out to all the members apologizing for that. So we have to tread very carefully. JCI is a great name, and certainly we should use it. I'm all for the co-branding of it for our organization. Thank you.
Do you want me to repeat?
No.
Okay.
The question Susan asked is an important one. It's how best do we market what we are to the broader public? And I think the answer has to start with a recognition of what we've done in the past. What we've done in the past is we've concerned ourselves internally with what do we call ourselves. And we haven't really had a focus on what it is we're delivering. And that's had remarkably bad results. At national conventions, we've seen arguments that become really, really heated over the subject of using the word Jaycees to describe our members as opposed to JCI or Junior Chamber. And none of that helps us refine and improve the quality of service we give our members. So this is my proposal for how we resolve this branding question. First, I would say it's not really a branding question, because the reality of Jaycees, JCI, Junior Chamber, as a brand is that the vast majority of our potential members that we encounter won't have any experience with any of those terms. They won't. I particularly like what JCI Corona has done, which is to say JCI Corona, comma, the Corona Jaycees. By doing that, They embrace the international organization, which has been the most successful part of our organization over the last 15 years, growing in global reach, growing in mission focus, to where when you go to an area conference or a world congress, you know absolutely with clarity what the purpose of our organization is. But it also acknowledges the Jaycees name that has a significant cachet and value among potential sponsors and potential partners in our broader community. And when Robert references the Junior Chamber of Commerce title, what he's talking about is a nice idea that in practice may not play out the way we want it to. There's a reason why our organization dropped the of commerce from its official corporate status on the United States level. And that's because chambers of commerce nationally became much more focused on business promotion and less centered in leadership development. In certain local communities, Corona being one, Pomona being another, and San Rafael being a third, our chapters have had great success partnering with chambers of commerce, and that needs to continue on a local level. But on a state level, I think it's important to recognize that our mission is different than the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce exists as an economic development engine. We exist as a leadership development opportunity. And the reason we say we are the junior chamber is we want to emphasize that we are a community of leaders. We are a fellowship of young people committed to developing each other. And so I am agreed with Robert. You use what name works for you. I just disagree that it's really that big an issue. Product matters more than branding.